Struggling with getting evidence for your bar defense claim? If that's not your problem, skip this video. But we learned how to build a really strong application over the last 2.5 years, and we'll teach you in the next 7 to 8 minutes. It's never about the amount of evidence as much as it's about the direct evidence to support 1 or 2 claims. Don't throw in the kitchen sink, right? I'm Kat, the CEO of LoanSense, and I'm joined here today by Melanie, who manages the bar defense program here at LoanSense. Listen up. 91% of you watching and listening to our channel are not subscribed. If you think this information is valuable, please subscribe, like it, or hit the notification bell and share.
And again, I'm Melanie. Today, we're diving into how to help borrowers gather evidence to build a really strong borrower defense application. Basically, find the kind of evidence that will turn your story into an approved application.
This will be an interview style back and forth. I'll ask Melanie a few questions and we'll get started. So let's dive in. No evidence or weak evidence for weak claim is an automatic denial. There's been 130,000 people denied in the last month by the Trump administration. So Melanie, let's start with a strong claim. What is a strong claim?
Okay, so that's a very good question. A strong claim, first of all, does not use generic statements, which we see a lot with other borrowers, right? So people will write like, the school admission counselor lied to me, or maybe they said I'd get a job, but don't really include the details. So that's not enough.
Can you give an example of a stronger version of a statement like the school admissions officer lied to me? What's an example of a stronger statement?
Yeah, absolutely. So instead of just saying they promised I'd get a job, maybe you can try something like, the recruiter told me that 95% of the graduates get a job offer within 6 months. I graduated but never received job support, and 18 months later, I'm still working retail. So something like that. That's very specific. It shows what was said, who said it, and what the outcome actually was.
I love it. The outcome's really important, right? I imagine a big part of making a strong claim is, of course, backing it up.
Yeah, definitely. So, which brings us to mistake number 2 that people make when they apply for a borrower defense is they don't provide evidence. So people will make claims but provide nothing to support them, no documents, no screenshots, no proof that the school made a promise to them. Everything is just going to be hearsay when that happens.
Yeah, so someone remembers exactly, and we definitely see that a lot. Like they just make a claim and expect that the application is complete because they said it. But if someone remembers a big promise, like 95% job placement rate, but how do they prove the school actually said that? What can they do to prove the school said that there's a 95% job placement rate?
So that's definitely most of the problems that borrower defense applications are facing right now. They can still find public evidence. So there are a lot of places where they can find public evidence. For example, they can use Wayback machine to find old school websites that made a claim. They can also check Google search or YouTube for old ads or recruitment videos. They can also join Facebook groups for other students who save brochures or screenshots. There are a lot of support groups in Facebook that you can find that would definitely help. And you can also look for news coverage or lawsuits showing a pattern of misrepresentation from the school. So even if they didn't get a direct email from an admissions counselor, they can still prove the school said it.
That's awesome, because I think oftentimes people are like, oh my God, it's not in my email inbox. I don't have evidence, right? But that's not true either. So another part of a claim showing the borrower did not achieve the promised claim, that's really important, right? That's like the 3-prong, like the statement, the evidence, and then the outcome, right? And yes. How does a borrower show that they didn't achieve the promised result that the school promised? How do they do that?
So what they can maybe do is they can compare the promise to their current income, their job fields, or the lack of job support. Some even include messages from the school's career office showing no help was available. They can take screenshots of other students from the same program stating they never received the promised outcomes either. So there are a lot of you'll be surprised how many people actually experience the same thing. So an example would be, despite the claim that 95% of the graduates receive placement in the IT fields earning 105,000, I am still a social worker earning 38K a year. You can then show your current pay versus what was maybe promised.
Yeah, that's a really good one because that's solid. Like no one's going to dispute that your pay is now 38,000 as a social worker and you never achieve the results of that degree, right? So let's talk about other claims we see. What if someone says my professor wasn't qualified to teach the course? Is that, because we hear that too, like the quality of teaching was so bad. Is that a valid bar defense claim?
Well, it can be. It's under one misrepresentation category. It's under educational services. If the school promised that all faculty had advanced credentials or industry certification and the professor didn't meet that standard, that's definitely misrepresentation.
So how would you gather evidence that the professor was not qualified? Because I know that just because the professor is not the most skilled at teaching, that doesn't necessarily mean they don't meet their credential criteria, right? I can't imagine saying their teaching was bad is sufficient.
Yeah, definitely. So there can be a lot of ways to gather evidence too. So number one, you can look up the professor on LinkedIn, or rate my professors or the school website. And then you can compare their background to what the school promised in a course catalog or brochure. And then if there's a mismatch, then that strengthens the case.
Yeah. So, but would you say that there's a stronger claim to make against the school's educational services rather than this professor's background was not what was promised?
Well, I think searching for marketing materials that state a graduation or career rate make a stronger claim rather than stating one professor was unqualified. This is what I encourage. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome information, Melanie. So whether you're trying to figure out if you qualify, if you're struggling to gather the right evidence, we have the tools and the services to help. We've gathered a ton of public information for the applications we've helped build already. So we encourage you to check out our next steps.
Yeah, well, definitely. We offer free consultations to help you understand your eligibility, review your narrative, or even build your entire application with evidence. So we assist in end-to-end application completion, from completion to submission, or just an application review before you're ready to submit. So we will drop a link below to see if you qualify for your free 15-minute call or receive our borrower defense filing kit. So I opened several more slots these coming weeks, and they get filled really quickly. So it might be, yeah, and there might be a wait list. So I would suggest you schedule now to get a free consult.
Yeah, so click on the link below, even if you're not ready to have a consult with Melanie, because simply signing up, you will receive our borrower defense filing kit, which we go through the application and step-by-step what to do to complete it yourself, even if you're not ready to schedule with Melanie. So please check out the link below. It's very helpful regardless of what stage of bar defense you're in, whether you're just learning about the process versus you really know you need assistance from somebody to complete the 21-page application. So 91% of our viewers, again, are not subscribed. So please consider subscribing. If you found this content helpful, like and turn on the notification bell and share with anyone else, your peers and colleagues that went to for-profit schools. We might be able to help you and them. So please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for your time today, Melanie.
No worries. Happy to help, Kat. We'll see you again.